If you've been anywhere on the internet over the last few weeks, it focused heavily on his unparalleled artistry, his legendary choreography, and the sheer genius behind his music. For millions of fans, the movie felt like a long overdue rehabilitation of his legacy. And then, right as that wave of celebration reached its peak, Netflix dropped the verdict. Fans are accusing Netflix of executing a calculated corporate takedown to deliberately kill the movie's momentum, the cultural battlefield. Let's look at the specific arguments driving the Michael Jackson fanbase to absolute fury. For his dedicated supporters, this documentary represents a complete violation of basic legal respect. The biggest, most repeated argument is incredibly straightforward. The verdict was already delivered. In 2005, after an incredibly grueling months-long trial that was picked apart by every media outlet on Earth, a jury of 12 ordinary citizens found Michael Jackson not guilty on all 14 criminal counts. To fans, Netflix is essentially trying to retry a dead man in the court of public opinion. Because Jackson passed away in 2009, he has no voice. He cannot defend himself, he cannot clarify context, and he cannot counter any specific claims made by the talking heads in this series. Supporters argue that building a narrative around someone who has no right of reply creates an inherently unfair, completely one-sided dynamic. Furthermore, fans are pointing out what they call highly selective editing. While Netflix marketed the series around the fact that cameras were banned inside the actual courtroom, the documentary relies heavily on archival news footage. Defenders claim that Netflix routinely clips out crucial context, such as moments where the defense successfully dismantled the prosecution's witnesses to twist the historical record and paint a picture of guilt where a legal court found none. They feel it's an active attempt to reduce the most influential entertainer in history down to a single, relitigated scandal. But what about the other side of the spectrum? What are the casual viewers and critics saying? Interestingly, even people who don't count themselves as part of the Jackson fanbase are feeling deeply uncomfortable with this series, but for entirely different reasons. For skeptics and viewers who closely followed the original trial, the documentary uncovers a deeply troubling look at how wealth, power, and massive celebrity can influence the justice system. Critics argue it reveals just how awestruck these individuals still seem by Jackson's status. The narrative presented by the documentary implies that the prosecution team did a terrible job managing the case, which allowed a highly paid, powerhouse defense team to aggressively cross-examine and poke holes in the testimonies of young accusers. However, even the critics who believe this re-examination was necessary are walking away frustrated with Netflix. Why? Because the documentary offers absolutely zero new information. For true crime enthusiasts expecting fresh evidence, unreleased documents, or new perspectives, the series is a massive letdown. It relies entirely on well-known facts, old talking points, and familiar archive clips that are starting to see right through the formula. There is a widespread feeling that the verdict wasn't made to uncover some hidden truth or offer a valuable historical perspective. Instead, it's being called out as pure, unadulterated rage bait. In the current media landscape, controversy equals cash. Streaming platforms know that nothing drives engagement quite like getting people angry. When a topic is deeply polarizing, people can't help but click, watch, argue in the comment sections, and share headlines. This constant interaction tells the algorithms to keep pushing the content, creating a massive marketing loop fueled entirely by public outrage. Viewers are experiencing severe Jackson fatigue. Between decades of tabloid coverage, endless books, podcasts, and intense previous documentaries like Michael Jackson, the verdict has managed to make almost everyone angry, regardless timed hit job that disrespects a legal acquittal and targets an artist who can no longer defend himself. For casual viewers and critics, it's a redundant, cynical piece of engagement farming that rehashes decades-old trauma without contributing anything meaningful to the conversation. Netflix tried to present this series as a deep, unique look behind the closed doors of a historic trial. Instead, they've reminded audiences of just how exhausting the endless cycle of celebrity scandal can be when it's treated as mere content. But now I want to hear from you. Are you going to watch the verdict on Netflix, or are you joining the boycott? Do you think this docuseries was a legitimate historical look at a major trial, or was it just unnecessary rage bait timed to cash in on the biopic's success? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's get a discussion going. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to Stakks, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.